Good morning, my name's Steve North. I'm an Operations Section Chief with Northwest Team 10 with an operational update for Tuesday, November 17th. The mission remains unchanged on the fire. We're in suppression repair throughout the fire area. Up in Delta on the northwest corner of the fire, they'll continue with their processing and their suppression repair. The good news down here in Division X-Ray Yankee, they've mostly completed that suppression repair work, and they should be done down there today, and then those resources will be shifted elsewhere on the fire. The big story for today is up here above Pingree and down here at the Bulge. We're hoping, because of the favorable weather today, to do bucket drops on that area to help take care of some of that heat that still remains out on the landscape. Now, at the last briefing, I told you we would take some time to answer some questions from the viewers, and we got a few questions in. So the first one is from Barbara. Why doesn't the fire spread in the wind? That's an excellent question. I know the analogy has been used here on this fire already, that what's left out there on the fire ground is similar to little tiny campfires surrounded by snow. When you have little campfires and everything else is covered by snow, even if little embers float out into the environment, there's not a receptive fuel bed to allow that fire to spread. Wind is a good news, bad news type of thing. The good part about wind is it helps those fuels consume themselves so they burn out and just go out on their own. It becomes a problem when the snow melts or evaporates away here in this countryside, and then there becomes a receptive fuel bed. We keep an eye on that on a thing we call probability of ignition. We watch to see how receptive the fuels are to an ember that falls into those into that fuel. So it is a concern as we move through the week. As the temperatures increase, the fuels dry out. We'll be keeping a close eye on it, which is why we want to try to put some moisture in on those fire areas and on that heat today. The other question comes from Debbie. How do we decide between a dozer and handline? Another fantastic question. It really has to do with accessibility and terrain. We can put dozer line in much faster than we can put handline in, but there's a lot of country, either because of big rocks or it's too steep, or when we put in dozer line, they have to push dozer line downhill, and then they have to be able to come out the bottom. So sometimes, even though they can push the dozer line downhill, there's nowhere to extract themselves from the bottom. And in that case, we have to use people to dig those control lines. Now, on the really nasty ground, the really steep ground, we'll use hotshot crews to construct that line, because obviously they can construct the line and then they can hike out. So that's it for this morning. Keep the questions coming, and we'll see you tomorrow.